In midwinter, the world comes indoors and is our guest of honor. Arms hug the arriving logs that clatter in to take their place by the fire. Souls kiss the prickly branches of holly, so elegant in green and red. The forest, which we've called and asked to come, travels long roads to get here. Finally, she arrives, tired but still bursting with the energy of high mountain cascades and starry nights. She tumbles across the threshold to be fussed over until she is comfortably settled in the living room. Soon, the whole house is filled with the world's presence, and it is up to us now to make her feel at home. Let this be the year we fully welcome the world and treat her right and lift our glasses in a toast to her and thank her and keep our resolutions and mean it when we say, joy to the world.
In Midwinter by Rebecca Parker. In midwinter, the world comes indoors and is our guest of honor. Arms hug the arriving logs that clatter in to take their place by the fire. Souls kiss the prickly branches of holly, so elegant in red and green. The forest, which we've called and asked to come, travels long roads to get here. Finally, she arrives, tired but still bursting with energy of high mountain cascades and starry nights. She tumbles across the threshold to be fussed over until she is comfortably settled in the living room. Soon the whole house is filled with the world's presence, and it is up to us now to make her feel at home. Let this be the year we fully welcome the world and treat her right, and lift our glasses in a toast to her and thank her and keep our resolutions, and mean it when we say, joy to the world.
So I had this pair of mittens. It's a pair of mittens that I loved. It's a pair of mittens that was made for me, woven thick with string, beautiful string and yarn, filled with bright colors, blue, red, green, with black as the base to keep my hands warm. And my spirit and my soul were lightened by the playful beauty of these mittens. So I put them on. Sometimes I called them my driving mittens because they weren't quite warm enough for like the sub-zero temperatures outside with all the little holes in them, but they were perfect for winter driving. And I dropped them several times. I dropped them in and out of the car, dropped them in and out of the house. I dropped them anytime I tried to get something out of my pockets and they'd fall on the ground. But miraculously, I kept them near me and I didn't lose them entirely. But recently I went on a trip just this fall and I wanted to bring these special, my driving mittens. And it was those days this fall where it was mild during the day, nice to walk around with maybe a light coat, no mittens on. And then at night it grew really cold. So one night after driving, I put them in the little cubby on the bottom of my car door, right? That little shelf down there. It's a very dangerous place to put things, like mittens, if you've had too much in there already. And so one night after driving, I got up the next morning. I was in Illinois, and there had been a huge snowstorm that had come. So I woke up to this huge blanket of snow on the car and over the hills and everywhere. And so I got out to my car. I brushed off a few things. I left my mittens in there. So I opened the car door, and I reached down to grab them, and there was only one. And I started looking around. I'm like, oh, it must be here somewhere. I got a little frantic. So I'm looking on the bottom of the car. I'm looking underneath the car. I'm like trying to wash away the snow right underneath. And it must have just fallen out. Then I remembered the night before, I had stopped for dinner. And I remember the moment I was on the curb and I needed to take a big step out of the car and then back in afterwards because there was an ice patch right there. And I just knew now it must have dropped then. because it had dropped out of that cubby so many other times. And that dinner was about 30 miles away in the direction opposite of where I needed to head that morning, early in the morning. And so that mitten was long gone. So when you have only one mitten, they're a little less useful. And one thing about it is it reminded me of a story. There was a woman who was riding on a subway, and she made it to her stop. She got off, stepped onto the platform. She had her bags and her coat and began making her way through the busy crowds. And then she reached down for her mittens, and she only had one. And she kept looking in her different pockets and bags, and then she heard the sound that the subway doors were about to close and people were getting there, and she thought, oh no, I left it on the seat. And she looked back, looked in the window, she saw it on the seat, but she was too far away. She knew the doors were just about to close, and she wasn't going to be able to get there. So in an instant, she thought, all right, I have this one, and she had a good throw. So she went like that and got it in just as the doors were closing. It landed on the seat because she thought, there's no way I can get that back. But those mittens aren't useful unless there are two. And so I'm leaving them on that seat for whoever they might bless, right? Sometimes things don't go the way you think they're going to or should. Sometimes we lose things that we love. But one of the most beautiful things is to lose things intentionally, to give away something that you love, that's meaningful to you. That's what generosity in this season at its best is all about. To know that when something doesn't make sense for you to keep, or it doesn't work in the way you need it to work, but it might for someone else, or if it's just something that you have used well for a long time and you want someone else to have it too, you put it to good use and you give it away. Just one mitten isn't much use. Keeping things for just ourselves doesn't do the world very much good. But when we see a need, even when we don't know who's going to receive it, some stranger on a subway, in the season of generosity, we need to keep throwing mittens into subway trains right as the doors are closing. We need to keep gift wrapping a gift for someone we may never know, because that someone is a person. Maybe a parent or a child, maybe someone very young or someone very old, but whoever they are, they have a heart and they can feel joy. And when they sit down and find beside them some gift from someone they don't even know, they aren't sure where it came from, maybe they can gain a little more hope about the world. Maybe they can feel a little more loved, that someone, some stranger out there somewhere, cared enough for their hands to be warm, for their heart to be warmed. That their life was worth a gift, not knowing who it was going to. Every day I sit down next to gifts that I didn't expect, unexpected love or compassion, moments of beauty or hope or dark or kindness or beautiful darkness on the solstice, moments of light and music and singing. We need all the gifts we can. So we're going to leave our gifts. For those of you who have been here in these last several weeks, you know throughout the month of December, we have these little boxes that we keep on our tables at home and collect coins and money. That's what we collected for during the offering, and we've asked you to bring them back. So we're going to ask you in just a moment to bring them up to the tree. If you would like help bringing up either your guest at your table box, or if you have a gift for the sharing tree downstairs, if you want help, just raise your hand. I know there are many willing participants to come and grab them for you and bring them up. Otherwise, everybody is welcome to bring them up and place them around the tree. Some of these gifts, we don't know exactly how they will be used or who they will bless, but we know that however they're used or whoever they come to, it will add a little more light shining in the world. So whether you come up in body or in spirit with whatever gifts you have brought today, know that those gifts help shine in the world. So your one time a year where the benediction has a Santa hat, so I invite you to, as you're comfortable, to join a hand next to you, place your hand on your heart or toward the sky and breathe deep the breath of life. Know that you are held in this season, that you have gifts to give to this world. This world is full of baskets that are empty and waiting to be filled with yarn, with love, with kindness, with hope, with inclusion, with justice. Whatever gift you have, however big, however small, bring it into this world like a little candle flame and let it shine. Amen. Our closing